Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop right there. This channel is not intended for kids under the age of 13. So if you're under the age of 13, please leave.
Hey everybody, Arthur here with another unboxing video. Today we have NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Secret of the Ooze Super Shredder, but it is the Shadow Master version. Comes in this really cool style packaging. On both sides of the box you have Super Shredder posed up. Their poses are slightly different, but it's all done in this like really dark and foil style packaging. The back of the package shows the figure posed up, and they still managed to keep it all sort of like metallic-y, foily, even with adding color to it. So that's pretty cool. Now, just like all the other NECA figures, you got the little Velcro that opens it up, revealing the figure, and we get some artwork on the inside of the figure right there. Super Shredder comes with a spear, crazy-looking thing going on, and it looks pretty good. It's very, very long, and then at the other end, the total opposite, we get the spear tip, so he could be stabbing some people. And you can even see it almost looks like they sculpted in like the welding of the metal on there. And if that's the case, and this thing is supposed to be like that, which granted it's a bunch of like street kids probably making weapons and stuff because they formed the foot. Yeah, he's going to use this thing once. It's going to break. This is like a weapon you'd get at like a flea market or something. We also get a container of Ooze with the TGRI on the canister. It's casted in that like green plastic, which looks great. But the only thing that sucks about mine is I do have a scratch in the plastic right there. And then on the other side, it's more of a scratch. Like the paint just is like peeling off. And that sucks. It really sucks. At least I got, I guess, one good side. Shredder comes with a pair of fist hands equipped. Super Shredder also comes with a pair of open palm hands, and all the hands are sculpted very nicely, and they all look all gnarly like they're burnt with a wash over them, just giving that mutated effect. We get a pair of gripping hands. Last but not least, we get one gripping hand so he can hold the canister. An up-close look at Super Shredder, and I love it. I love the sculpt, and I really am glad they released this version because I love how it's just dry-brushed metallic-y purple over black as opposed to just being overly saturated purple, because you really didn't get to see him that clearly, and I really feel like this one fits in with the rest of the figures, and the other one pops like it looks like a little bit too cartoony. Now, one thing they definitely changed is the armor. The armor has like a blue metal hue to it. The original, it was darker. So it's almost like if they could have just brought that same armor over to this one, it would have been perfect. But his whole theme is like dark, but then they gave him this like brighter bluish silver, paint job on the shoulder pads. Now the helmet, again, like bringing him up close so we could really take a look at the detail. It looks phenomenal. The sculpted in detail, and his eyes are bugging out of his skull, and they aren't crossed. Different angles as you're moving it may look like it, but his eyes are pretty straightforward. And he just looks awesome. All the spikes on his shoulder. We rotate him around. You got even more of that chainmail. And then we got this like I don't know, like pleathery vinyl type of material. It's shiny on the outside and like a matte fabric on the inside. Very cool stuff. Let's see all the sculpt work and paint work underneath. They continue with the awesome, like, I love all the spikes. It's like, get Shredder with some mutagen, and he gets super roided out, and more spikes happen. It looks pretty freaking cool. I love the belt, the texture throughout, and again, just at his hands, they all look mangled and burnt and stuff like that, and they sculpted it very, very well. More spikes on the shin guards, just going crazy. Some are bent a little bit, but they're pliable, so you can straighten them up. And then he's got those like giant platforms sandals, which I think they look awesome. So tons of sculpt work, and it's super accurate to the film. I mean, NECA does a great job when it comes to their sculpts. And in hand, this guy is heavy and he's pretty massive. Now, diving into articulation, I'm going to do the best I can to show you guys the articulation. His head can move left and right, but his little parts right there might hit the shoulder. So basically, he can look down a little bit. He can look up. Like, there's his motion right there. And as for attitude, I mean, he definitely has the attitude going on. So, I mean, there's definitely a good amount of range and motion. It's just his helmet dings his shoulder pads a little bit. So, okay articulation for neck. His shoulders, that's where a lot of my stiffness comes from. Like, get it up that far. There's no bicep swivel at all. You know, you get the swivel up there in the ball. And again, it's really, really tight. But I mean, you can get his arm to go up, back. And what's really cool, they made up for the bicep swivel because the elbow pivots, but you got to bend here. There's a hidden bend right there. Double jointed elbows on such a giant figure. Good job, NECA. Good job. And then his forearm armor or forearm does pivot right there. Can't really see because it's all blurry. It'll focus. There we go. So pivoting here, get wrist bend, and so lots of articulation in the arms. Quite impressed when it comes to articulation in the arms. His upper torso, that's pretty much it. His pectorals are hitting his abs, and that's really it. So he's mainly there for swiveling. Not even much leaning. Like, yeah, there's not much moving up here, I guess, just for pivoting. His abs, though, are really deeply sculpted in. His waist moves a little bit, sort of like the hula hoop-ish, but it does feel a little bit limited, just like his upper part. Splits, he can do the splits this far. Pretty good for a ginormous figure. Kicking forward, that's about it. That's about as forward as you're going to get. You got double jointed knees. Did they give us no, they could have given us boot swivel there, but ankle bend, pivot, and then of course you got the hip, you know, up in the ball joints, so you get the pivot up in the hip up there. So pretty freaking cool. This is probably one of the more posable NECA figures I've had in hand, and it's such a relief that as I'm moving it, yeah, he has stiff parts and stuff. Nothing as I was moving this figure felt like it was going to snap. And it could be just because this dude's so massive, but this figure is phenomenal. It looks great. He holds the staff, spear, axe, whatever the heck you want to call it, very, very well. And it looks good. And his crazy, like, as I'm knocking him over, but like this crazy cape looks good too. Like, I'm very pleased with this figure. You can even get him to balance and do the walk, which is awesome. Again, I can't get enough of the figure. I mean, he looks great. You're going to have him on a shelf with your movie turtles. He's definitely going to pop, but you definitely got to balance those big old feet because, as you can see, he's going to be a little bit top heavy. Now, usually I'm picking apart NECA figures, and honestly, this one is quite impressive in hand. I would have to say that, I mean, it's great. Like, the hands are sculpted very well, and they're made out of like a rubbery material so they can get grips on the actual weapons and canister very well without scratching them up. Bummer that mine came scratched the canister wise, but this figure is definitely a solid figure, and it's huge. Like, look at it with my background diorama, like how big this figure is. Doing a little bit of a size comparison, I busted out Cheddar the Plunderling, and I busted out the Amazon exclusive Marvel Legends Deadpool, and you can really see how big this freaking figure is. It just towers. And then, of course, you can bust out a nice little retro Raphael there, but I mean, Super Shredder, super big, as he should be. And that's awesome. They didn't like restrain themselves. They're like, let's make this dude hulking, and they did a hell of a job. Overall, NECA nailed this figure. The articulation blew my mind. Honestly, it was impressive. It was impressive as hell. So overall, NECA impressed me with this figure. The quality feels good in hand. The articulation really impressed me with them putting in those double jointed knees and elbows on such a big, bulky figure, and it looks good with that articulation. And I mean, if this is the future of what we're going to be getting in figures and the quality we're going to be getting, I'm impressed. The plastic doesn't feel brittle like it's going to break. Sure, it had a little bit of tight joints and everything, but it wasn't to the point where I thought I was going to break the figure. And I had the one QC issue on the canister. Other than that, this figure is practically perfect in my opinion. It is a awesome, awesome figure. And that sums up my unboxing and review of NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Super Shredder Shadow Master. If you guys like what you saw, hit that thumbs up. New to my channel, hit that subscribe button for me, as it will mean the world if you did that. And if you want to know when I post up a new video, hit that silver bell notification as well so you'll get those alerts. And make sure you guys check out Toyco Toys and Collectibles. There's a website down below, and there's a promo code for you guys to get free shipping on anything you purchase off that website. Also, there is a Facebook pre-order group that you can join. It doesn't cost anything. It allows you to stay in the know with collectibles such as imports if you're not familiar with them. You're looking at your SH Figuarts, Figma, 1000 Toys, Storm Collectibles. Those are all classified as imports, and you might not be aware of them. So join up with this pre-order group and be aware. And if you see something you like, Andrew really does amazing jobs with this pre-order pricing. Some of the best that I've seen, and it gets shipped to you directly, crispy and mint. I mean, that's something that's great, is that they always arrive for me crispy, no crush box or anything. It's awesome, especially when you're dealing with these collectibles. So definitely check it out. And I want you guys to most importantly have the best luck hunting, keep on collecting, and have a beautiful day.